Okay. So I am just whipping up some egg whites to start. Once it looks nice and foamy like this, we're gonna add in some cream of tartar, which looks like this. And it's just a little powder that, oh, new container. It's a little powder that helps to, it's an acid. So it aids with our, kind of trying to get the egg whites to not deflate, make sure that they actually stay nice and aerated. It's actually denaturing the egg protein, if you want to get all sciencey like that. Okay, so we're gonna grab a teaspoon of this. That looks good. So a teaspoon of our cream of tartar. If you don't have cream of tartar, I've heard that you can use like lemon juice. I think I've heard some people say you can use vinegar, just some type of acid, but I like to use cream of tartar because it's a dry, kind of shelf-stable thing. So it's easy to have on hand. So we're gonna continue, just clean up my little cream of tartar mess here. We're gonna continue to whip this, and then we're gonna start to add in our egg whites and just, or no, sorry. We're gonna start to add in our granulated sugar into our egg whites in just a little bit. I'm gonna get that cream of tartar all mixed in there. Okay, and now we can start to slowly pour in our granulated sugar. We're adding it slowly so that it incorporates a little bit better into our egg whites. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Let's see, make sure you can see it. And just a little bit at a time. That way it mixes a little bit better. Just a little bit at a time. Just a wee bit of patience here. sugar added. So to 12 egg whites. Ah, perfect. You're right ahead of me. Okay, so how many egg whites and sugar? So for this one, I'm using what I usually do is like a quadruple batch of my regular. So this is 12 egg whites and 480 grams of granulated sugar, plus 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And I think on my website I have it either as a single batch or a double batch. So it's really easy to do more. At the most, I would say I would do 12 egg whites because for me that fills up 3 trays, which takes up the entire space in the oven. Let me double check here. Okay, so, and if you do, if you're not into the metric system for using your measuring and all that kind of stuff, then it's about 2.5 cups of sugar. Okay, I'm gonna increase the speed here. Check the chat. If you have any other questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. Thank you, Karen, for your question. A little bit higher here. Actually, I'm gonna pause it for just 1 sec. I want to make sure that I scrape down the sides of the bowl to make sure that all of the sugar is getting incorporated into the egg whites, because we want to make sure it's all kind of dissolved into the egg whites. We don't want it to be all kind of grainy. Where did you go? There you are. Okay, so we're scraping the sides of our bowl. Make sure all that good stuff is getting in there. Okay. I always like to scrape the excess off with a spoon. There's really not much left on our spatula. There we go. Okay. And we continue mixing on a kind of like medium, high, or high speed. Mixing for a while here. And like I said, any questions, pop it in the chat. Feel free to do so and I will answer. We obviously got a little bit of time while we're whipping this up. And do you guys like meringues? What's your favorite flavor? I feel like I like vanilla, like a nice natural vanilla taste. Raspberry is always good too. I really want to try peppermint though. When do you add the flavoring? Good question. So after we are done getting it to kind of close to stiff beaks, we're gonna add in a little bit of salt and our flavoring. You're welcome, Karen. Thanks for asking the question. I always appreciate answering questions. Okay. So like I said, we just continue doing this. I hope you guys can hear me. How long do you mix for? So we're gonna mix until this gets to stiff peaks, which because this is quite a bit of egg whites, this is 12 egg whites, it does take a little bit longer, but when I make meringues, I like to kind of maximize the amount that I'm making because it takes a while to bake them. So if I'm gonna make a batch of meringues, I wanna make a bunch of them at one time and then just fill the oven up in all the different shelves. So this is the whole big batch. It takes a little while longer. I think on average it takes about, and I always forget to time myself, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so if you have a bunch of meringue. I think it's a little bit shorter, maybe closer to like 10 or 12 minutes if you have like a small batch. So, but you can see it's getting like really pretty and glossy. So we're getting there, but we're not quite there because it's not holding any kind of shape yet. I'm gonna pause this for 1 sec. We scrape down our bowl again. Just periodically. It doesn't need to happen super frequently, but just once in a while you want to make sure that you do that. Scrape on the bottom a little bit. See, it's already getting really pretty and glossy. Is a stand mixer okay to use? Absolutely. I usually use my stand mixer, especially if I'm making Swiss meringue buttercream. I do not recommend making that particular buttercream with a hand mixer because every time I've broken a hand mixer, it's been with that buttercream because it's so thick. So definitely you could use a stand mixer. But because I have limited counter space with the amount of meringues I'm making today, sometimes I'll just do a hand mixer for that reason. So I have a little more space to work with. I love Swiss meringue buttercream. Me too. I love how it's like so well balanced. It's not too sweet. And it holds peaks beautifully when you pipe everything. I do understand that space also. Yeah, I do love using my stand mixer, but it is sometimes like I wish I could use it, but I don't have the space at the moment for all the trays of meringues. So I'm using really big trays when I do meringues that completely take up like the entire shelf. So it's like a big old cookie sheet instead of a baking tray. And just so everyone knows, we are going for about an hour today. And then whatever we don't finish here, I'm actually going to continue filming and then I'll turn it into a tutorial video because we're going to be assembling them, some of them into some meringue wreaths that I love to make. So we're going to pipe the base of that. We're going to pipe little details we can add to it. It's heavy to keep moving around. It is. The stand mixer is like a godsend, but it's also, ooh, that's a big boy. We have to store ours on like the back counter, or else I would wish that I could keep it out all the time because it's so useful, but yeah. I'm so excited to see all that. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Karen, and asking your questions. I really appreciate it. Okay, you can see that we're starting to kind of get a little bit of body there, but it's still going back in really easily. So we're still going to be mixing for a little bit. So if you think of any questions, feel free. I also do have another Christmas meringue video that I put up last year, so definitely check that out. I'll make sure that once this is posted, I'll put the link in the description so you can go check it out. We just continue mixing. I'm really excited because I'm trying, we're gonna do a couple of little different things I haven't done before today that I'm excited about, that I had ideas and I just can't help myself. So we're gonna try them out together. If you saw one of my, I did an Easter meringue video, and that one had like these little itty bitty peep meringues. And I had an idea for some itty bitty Christmas meringues of 3 different kinds. So we're going to try those out and see how it goes. Also, the itty bitty ones are super cute for the wreath details, as well as like a little teeny tiny bite. I found you by accident. Can you tell me the name of your channel? Of course. My channel is Adventures in Yum. And my name is Carly. And I'm so excited that you're here today. And I have been doing YouTube for just about 2.5 years now. And I've been doing lives once a week since August, and I put out shorts videos every single day. So if you're looking for little tiny dessert inspiration or little food inspiration stuff, then definitely check them out. And I also, of course, do tutorial videos on average about once a week. Once in a while I'll have to skip it if the week is so crazy, but especially for the holidays, that's my favorite kind of content. And I did a 30-day holiday video challenge last year, where it had 10 days of Halloween, 8 days of fall, and 12 days of Christmas. So definitely go check that out. I believe I have a playlist dedicated to that. So there's plenty of content if you want to check stuff out. All right, I'm going to scrape. Sorry, it's probably hard to hear me. Adventures in Yum. Y-U-M. As we go on yummy adventures together. We're scraping down the bowl again. All right, and I can feel it's getting a little bit stiffer, but we can see that it goes back into the batter here, and it doesn't really hold any kind of shape. So we still have a little ways to go. But like I said, if you have questions, awesome, can't wait to see it all. Thank you so much, Karen. Like I said, if you have questions or want to just talk in the chat, got a few more minutes of whipping here, and then we'll get to our piping. Okay, and we're back. All right, and I'll just describe what we're doing today, just to fill in this mixing time. So, like I said, we're trying a couple new things. So the itty bitty meringues are new. So I'm sorry for keeping. Oh no, Karen, please keep asking questions. I love it. Let me see. Hold on. Your thing went away. Yen. No, Y-U-M. So like yummy, but yum. So yummy adventures. So adventures in yum. And you should be able to see, I'm not sure if you can click on my channel through here, but hold on. Let me, just so everybody has access to it, let me tag myself in the chat. Will it let me type is the question. Adventures in Yum. Thank you. My sister popped in the chat with it. I can't see if I'm able to actually type anything, but thank you, sister. That's my sister Carmi. Oh, no worries. I'm just happy that you're here. Yeah, we're going to continue whipping here. And then, so like I said, I'm going to be trying some little itty bitty macarons as well as, or not macarons, that's a whole different thing. Woo! Itty bitty meringues. And also piping some meringue wreath bases, because I always like to do a base and then add the little meringue details on there afterward, after everything is baked off. And that's going to be like the main thing for the video that I'll put up probably sometime next week, showing off the rest of the stuff from today. And so we're going to do, I'm going to try out itty bitty Santa hats. I've done bigger ones, but I want to try seeing what little mini ones do. And then also little itty bitty Christmas tree ones. And then I have an idea for little snowmen that I've never tried in meringue form before. We're going to try a mini version with those. So I'm excited because I love mini things. Yeah, the reason it's taking so long is just because there's so many egg whites, but I wanted plenty to be able to make multiple things. And as you can see, how can you tell when they are done? So are you asking about meringue being done, or are you asking about the meringue cookies after they're baked? Baking, gotcha. So with those ones, they take so long, I don't really ever check them. What I like to do is I will do all my piping, put them in the oven at 195 degree Fahrenheit. I don't know off the top of my head what that is in Celsius, but 195 in the oven. And then I put it on for about 2.5 to 3 hours because it's like a low and slow thing. And then I actually prefer, if I can, to just leave them in there overnight. So you just turn off the oven, leave them in the hot oven, and they just continue to kind of dry out. And then you get up in the morning or the next day, and then you have really nice meringue cookies. So I don't really ever check them, in the oven. I like to keep it closed. I like to keep the heat in there as long as possible. And like I said, after about 2.5 to 3 hours, then you can turn it off. But after that point, they're pretty much done at that point, actually. I just like to continue drying them out to give them the best chance possible of not getting kind of sticky. And then, of course, you want to store them in an airtight container. Okay, as you can see, we're getting some nice little ripples in here. But when I pull it out, it is nowhere near soft peak or anything. So we're still going to continue whipping, but I will scrape down the sides of the bowl. Like I said, I truly appreciate your questions, so of course continue to ask them whenever you have them. We're just whipping away here, but I can definitely tell there is more body to it. It's thicker, but we're still not quite there. Okay. And we're back to whipping. Get in there, slowly but surely. While I'm thinking about it, just make sure I haven't missed anything. You're welcome. Okay, I think I'm good. I think I'm all caught up. It's a little bit hard because sometimes the chat, it disappears on me when I'm on my phone compared to if I'm on the computer. But I like the phone because it kind of gets you more up and close with what I'm doing, so. Getting there. Okay, let's check on our progress. And we are at soft peaks. See, that has a nice little, holds a little bit of shape, but it's not quite there. So, move my little bowl over here. So we're gonna scrape down the sides and we are getting very, very close. And then we can add some, I like to add salt to the big batch, but if I wanna do multiple flavors, of course, I'm gonna divide it into multiple bowls and be able to flavor it. So I know that not everybody likes peppermint, but I've been really wanting to make some peppermint ones. So I am going to split it and do some vanilla, some peppermint, maybe strawberry. I got that one out too. That's kind of a consistent, either strawberry or raspberry. Those are kind of consistent ones I do as well. So close. We are almost there. check it again. We're getting really close right there. Not quite stiff, but it's very, very close. So right now I'm going to add in a little bit of salt. I always recommend adding some salt just to kind of balance out the sweetness. Let's scrape down our bowl. Okay, still pretty soft. Still got a little ways to go. But we're gonna add in some salt, and I think I want to add in vanilla. I'm gonna wait on that one. Thought about adding it in now, but not yet. Okay. So with this much, I would add in about a half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm adding in a quarter right here. I want to add in at least a half, and then I'll mix it up and then see if I want to add in more salt when I divide them later. But because some extracts seem to get like a really funky taste, like the salt kind of brings out the funkiness of it, like the very extracty kind of weirdness of that. So whereas with like the vanilla, the natural vanilla, that kind of flavor seems to be enhanced. So it just kind of depends on which extract or which extract flavor you are working with. Okay, a little more mixing to go. And I think, which one do you guys want to start out with? I am doing a snowman for the first time ever. And also a little Santa hat and a little Christmas tree. So which one do you guys want to see first? I will leave it up to you. Okay, I think we're getting really close there. So I'm gonna, at this point, I am going to divide my batter into a couple of different bowls. Oops, a little bit of meringue over here. Let's see, how much do I want? So we're using quite a bit of white. So I'm gonna leave the white in here. I'm gonna do the red and green. I want to do those different flavors. So, actually, do I? I think I'm just going to do, let's see. I don't think I'm going to need a big old bowl. I think I want to do just sticking with vanilla and peppermint for this. And I'm going to divide the batter, I think, in half, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit with the white, but also the green and the red. So yeah, I'm going to divide this in half between this one and another bowl. Clean up the sides of the bowl a little bit though, because I don't want my hands to get all sticky. Let's check the chat to see if anybody chose anything. No, you guys didn't want to decide. Okay, stick some of our batter over here. I want to leave quite a bit of it, which is the vanilla one. And then, so there's our vanilla. You're going to do hats. Okay, cool. I was actually kind of leaning towards that one. With this one, we're going to do the peppermints. Okay, so let's add in some of our vanilla extract. All right, so for the amount that we have here for vanilla extract, I'm gonna do like a teaspoon to start, and then you can grab a little tasting spoon and just try a little bit and see if you can like taste the flavor, see if it's good. See if the salt level is good. So we're adding in a teaspoon. We're gonna mix this up to stiffies. Almost there. Let's check it. Pull it out. Still a little bit too soft, so let's keep going. Egg whites just don't want to cooperate as much as usual today for whatever reason. Sometimes they have a mind of their own. Check it now, it's looking better. Pull it out. Still leaning a little bit. Doesn't, oops. Yeah. Let's see if I mix it around a little bit and pull up. Actually, it's holding pretty good. Just one little mixy mix. And then we're gonna pipe some of this. Before we add it to our piping bag though, we do want to try a little bit. So we get a nice clean spoon, get a little bit to try. I'm really happy with that. You can taste the vanilla, but it's not overpowering. The salt level is really nice. It takes away some sweetness, helps with that vanilla flavor. Double check the chat before I get started on piping. We're good. Okay. So first off, move some of my extracts here. I get a little sip of water. Okay. So we're gonna set aside our other bowl. We're gonna do our peppermint in just a little bit, but we're gonna start with, where did you go? Okay. So I'm grabbing a Wilton Tip 21. I'll show it to you in one sec what it looks like. I'm just putting it on my coupler here. I know I'm using quite a bit of white with different tips, so I wanted to use a coupler. I need to get some more of these because I keep misplacing them, but a tip 21 is a nice star tip. I don't know, kind of hard to see a little bit. Go like the beauty YouTubers. So you have your star tip right here. It's kind of like a 1M if you've ever used that. It's like the smaller version of it. So it's one of my favorites to use. So that is what we're going to use for the base of our Santa hats. And let's grab one of our trays here with our parchment paper. And oops, let's clean up that. I don't want anything sticky on the bottom. A little bit of meringue over here. Okay. So we have our tray. Like I said, this is a really nice big baking sheet that we like to use for usually cookies. I think it's called a cookie sheet technically, but it's a really nice big tray that takes up most of the shelf in the oven. So I can fill up 3 of these, have every single shelf full, and then have a ton of meringues baking at once. So you don't have to do the whole process of whipping some, then baking them, then waiting for them to cool. Like doing all that whole thing can be a bit much sometimes. So that's why I like to do it all at once. Okay, let's check our meringue. I'm gonna give it one little mix here. Okay. So if at any point your meringue, because this is a French meringue, I'm not quite sure how it holds up with Swiss or Italian, because I usually just do French for my meringue cookies. If it starts to look deflated, kind of more like soft peaks than stiff peaks, then you can just re-whip it and get it back to stiff peaks. So that's what I do, especially when I have big old batches like this. It definitely starts to get that soft consistency again. And again, just re-whip it back to where you want it to be. Okay, this meringue. Okay, it's got a little tiny bit soft, but it still looks like it's gonna hold its shape. So we're gonna take a little bit of meringue and just put a little dot in each corner. And this is to help hold our parchment paper, so it doesn't go sliding around while you're trying to work, because that is just annoying and not pleasant when you're trying to pipe stuff. You definitely want things nice and stable. 2 other corners over here. Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. You could even use the back of a spoon. Okay, so we have our baking sheet ready to go. Before I get started, let me double check the chat just to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Where did you go? Come on, there we go. Okay, we're all caught up. Okay, so we have our tip 21 here, and then we're gonna pipe. Here, let me see if I can kind of lower the camera a bit so you can kind of see it a little bit more up and close. Okay, does that work? Why do you seem a bit fuzzy? Okay, hopefully, maybe if I go like this with the light. Is that better? Okay, I think that should be good. Oh, the fun of lives, adjustments mid-thing. Okay. So we are now, are you gonna hold your shape? Okay. This is not gonna hold its shape super well, but actually that kind of works out in our favor because it's gonna look a little more like a hat, I think. So we're gonna pipe just a little rosette, just like that. Just like that. So what I mean in favor of, like, it's a little bit softer than I usually would like piping, but it's easier to kind of clean it off at the end. So sometimes with the stiff ones, it kind of sticks out a little bit still. So we're just doing a little rosette, just like that. We're trying to keep it to one little layer. I'm getting a little bit bigger than I want to. So I want to keep it close to about this size. Okay. All right, and you see how soft this is, so I'm definitely gonna re-whip this because our little dollop that we're gonna put on top definitely needs to be nice and stiff. I'm gonna pipe a few more of these. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna pipe for the moment, but if I need to, I'll go back later and fill it in. And what's really nice about meringue cookies is that they don't spread, so you can make them pretty close to each other. You don't have to have a lot of space. Because they don't spread at all, they just dry out in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to grab my batter here. I'm gonna grab our peppermint extract. Let me shift you over for a sec. Okay. And because I'm using the mixer for the vanilla one, I'm not gonna use that for the peppermint. And the peppermint can be a tad strong, so we're gonna add in about a half teaspoon to start, taste it, and see if we like it. It smells so fresh. Okay, so I'm gonna grab just a whisk to whisk my hands. And we're gonna mix this up. Okay, yeah, it's really soft. I think I might just switch out to the hand mixer and then just rinse in between. I'm trying a little tiny taste of it to see if I like it. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Plenty of the peppermint. Okay, so let's swap this out because it's going to take too long if I do it by hand. again, we're just going until it has stiff peaks. So I think with the peppermint, I could have maybe added a little bit less. I know that some people like it a little bit more subtle with peppermint. I like it a little bit on the strong side, so of course adding a little bit at a time until you reach your desired taste is the way to go. Of course, any questions, as always, put it in the chat. If you want to tell me what your favorite meringue flavor is, or if you've ever made them yourself, if you've piped any fun shapes, or if you just kind of stick with the kisses. Happy baking. Hi, thank you so much for joining. And I can tell that it's not there yet. It was sitting for a little bit, plus it wasn't completely to stiff peaks. So we're just gonna continue whipping. Until we get to those lovely stiff peaks. And meringues, they definitely do take a while, especially if you're making like a sheer amount of meringue batter that we're making right now. But like I said, I like to maximize my space in the oven and the time that it takes to bake these. And also I have multiple ideas, and it makes it easier just to make everything at once, and then, you know, you just have to re-whip it ever so often just to get it to those stiff peaks again. But I feel like it's less of a pain than having to make multiple batches. But I have fun making shapes and coming up with like different things to try, so that's why I like the wreaths, like to do different shapes and then put them together in a wreath for the different holidays. I unfortunately missed Halloween, but I'll definitely need to do one next year. And then, as I mentioned a while ago, whatever I don't finish here with you guys live, then I'm going to continue filming, and then we're going to put it into a tutorial video to kind of finish it up. We're going to be sitting here for a couple minutes. So, what is your favorite holiday flavor? What is like your number one, or maybe your couple top ones that you like? I feel like mine depends on my mood, but overall, I've always been a peppermint chocolate kind of person. I also love like a caramel chocolate combo as well. I'm getting even more into like cranberry and chocolate and orange. That kind of triple combination is really good. I actually might be sharing a recipe this year. I tried it kind of last year, was recipe testing, and it's like a chocolate chip cookie bar, but with an orange cranberry twist to it. So for this part, we definitely need really good stickies. We're typing right now. Yes, all of those. I'm trying to think of one of their flavors. In terms of like eggnog, I've never been super into eggnog besides the actual drink itself. Gingerbread, I'm not a fan, although I actually did just film some trying videos last night, some trying different like sweets for the season. And I'll just tell you right now, the gingerbread Kit Kats, the gingerbread cookie Kit Kats, where I was actually pleasantly surprised that I like those. I was fully expecting just to not like them and to find people to give them to. But I'll need to keep a couple for myself. This meringue wants to be, oops. Got meringue flying in a couple different spots. That's why I really, really like red currant. Is red currant from like the winter kind of season? I guess my sister is saying red currant in the chat because I think of it as a summer flavor, but that's because she gave it to me in a raspado, and that's like a shave ice drink type thing. And so I guess I associate it in my mind with summer because that's when I've had it. But I guess it would make sense. Kind of like, we're going to take kind of a cranberry. Okay, let's grab a spatula and scrape the bowl down. Yes, I think so. Ah, that would make sense. It does kind of have a cranberry appearance, so it would make sense that it would be the season for it. Okay. So the reason I don't like using mixing bowls like this, like kind of that's lower, the bowl I was using earlier to mix the like the entire batter has really nice high sides. iPop has it featured on their new seasonal menu. Oh, that's a thing that you don't really ever see, so that's kind of cool. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It's still very soft. It could be, I don't know, sometimes the weather messes with meringue. Meringue is so fickle, and that's why macarons in particular are just such a pain in the butt. Although I've really been wanting to make them because it's been a little bit too long since I've made them, so I like to make them ever so often. Got a different spoon to scrape this one. I think we're going to go a little over an hour just because I want to make sure I at least get one full shake piped with you guys today. Like I said, I will be finishing up later, but the meringue has been taking longer than it usually does. The meringue's just a little bit weird today. It's just taking longer than usual. And I truly appreciate you guys being here, especially asking questions, popping in the chat, say hi. See some people just joined. If you haven't already, what's your favorite holiday flavor? Type it in the chat. Actually, speaking of holiday flavors, I recently tried, if you know Jamba Juice, like I recently tried one of their new holiday flavor, their limited edition flavor, and it's called Merry Orange Cranberry. And it is really tart and bright, and it's like a little smack in the face of flavor, but it's really, really good. And they also add like this like kind of creamy, it's not whipped cream, it's something else, but it's like this kind of creamy element that they put in there with it. So, which actually helps kind of cut through a little bit of like that sharpness from the cranberry and orange, but it's really, really good. It'll wake you up for sure. Let's see, what other holiday flavors? Oh, since I'm mixing up peppermint right now, what size bag do you usually use? I typically use a size, I think they're 12 ounce. Yeah, I think they're the typical size that I usually use is a 12 ounce piping bag or a 16 if I can find them, but sometimes I can't find them in like a bigger box. So it's kind of like whatever box I can find that I can get a good price on is kind of what I go with. I don't necessarily stick with the same size all the time, but it's usually going to be a 12. This mixture wants to be a total butt today. Let's see. Again, it might be the time of year and how like moist the air is, especially it rained a whole bunch yesterday. There's like a lot more rain coming in the next couple days, so that might be affecting it. I'm kind of leaning towards that because it doesn't usually take this long to whip up. So I'm going to pivot since our vanilla is actually whipping up. We're going to whip this up and we're going to use this for what I was going to use the peppermint one for. So let me rinse off my beater really quick. Or my whisk attachment, I should say. Okay. So I have to play around with that one later, but I'll definitely make some more. But I do want to show you, since we've already started the hats, what to do for them. And as you can see, it's been sitting, but it's definitely not soupy like the other one. So the other one is just wanting to be annoying today. So we're gonna whip this back up. Oh, let's scrape the bowl down first, almost forgot. Okay. And there we go. And we're going to whip this back up to stiff peaks. Oops. Forgot that it was set super low. Hold on. Prop you back up here for a sec. There we go. And whip. And then getting back into seasonal flavors, since I can chat for a sec while I'm doing this. If anyone's heard of the Wendy's Frosty Peppermint flavor, I was so excited about that because I love peppermint. And we got it, and it didn't taste at all like peppermint. And it tasted literally like they had a strawberry flavor over summer. and it tasted like the location that we went to literally just took out the strawberry stuff and didn't clean the machine in between and just put the peppermint in thinking that it would be perfectly fine. But it didn't. It tasted like a very, very subtle strawberry, and like no peppermint flavor was detected whatsoever. So I was kind of bummed. I'm hoping to actually try like a good version of it. So, but I do really enjoy peppermint. We're getting there with our really nice peaks here. Almost there, not quite, but I'm going to take a quick little break to show you how to prepare the bag. So we're going to be using, I think, we're going to do 12. Okay, so we're going to do a tip 12 Wilton. It's a small little round tip. I think that'll be a good size for what we're doing here. I'm going to put it in the bag. And we're going to cut off the tip. So I usually like to scoot it down. You can see it. Bye. So you have the tip right there, and then I scoot it down just a little bit so you can kind of see where it was. And then you kind of cut just a little bit below that. Pop your tip back, and then you can cut it a little bit more, but it completely clears the tip. So that's how I usually cut my piping bags if I'm using a tip. And for our red, because especially with red and black are the two ones in particular where you have to add a crazy amount to actually be able to see the color in like a really beautiful, dark, rich color. So to get around that with meringues, especially because you would have to add a ton to be able to actually get the color to stand out. So instead, we're going to take our red. I like to use like the no taste red or the red. The Christmas red is a bit too pinky for me. So we got this one. I'm just grabbing like a butter knife from the kitchen drawer. And we got our piping bag. Always fold your bag like this. You can easily fill it as well. Which reminds me, I should get my cup out. You can use your hand or a cup. I just prefer the cup. But we have our red right here. We're gonna grab out a pretty generous amount, I would say, of the gel. This is a food gel, it's water-based. So we're gonna take it, we're gonna put it in our bag, and because we want this one to be fully, we don't want it to be striped at all, we want it to be completely coated on the inside. I'm gonna put it like that. And we're gonna smush. Smush, smush, smush. Work it all around, let's get that entire bag coated. Not the entire bag, because that would be a bit much, but you see what I'm saying. You want it to be really nice and coated so it gets the color on it. You can even move it down a little bit, down here, closer to the tip. Okay, you can move it up the bag. It will be a little bit dark in parts, but this is the best way to get a really rich color on the meringues without having to add like a whole container of food coloring. And I have accidentally dyed people's mouths kind of dark colors before, so before I learned this trick, I would add too much food coloring to the meringues. Most people that I knew were good sports about it, though. They kind of laughed. Okay. So we are then taking our piping bag. I like to kind of fold the tip up like this and drop it down. Oops. And because it has the food coloring, you can kind of separate it out. Go like that. Okay. So there it is. It's easier to fill this way, and we're going to finish whipping our meringue and then pop it into our cup. But see this, it makes it easy. You can do this, or you can put it around your hand. So you put your hand in like a little C formation, kind of like the side of a cup. And then you put the piping bag around right here, and you have it right here, and then you can fill it like that too. I just prefer this just because it's easy to kind of set on the side. Okay. So we are finishing our whipping. Good times though. We're really close, but like I said, I really want this to be really, really nice and stiff peaks because we need this part to really stand up. It's looking pretty stiff. Let's check it. You're right almost there. So close. Okay, let's check. Looks pretty, yay. Okay, so we're gonna put some of this into our red color piping bag with the 12 tip. Okay, I want to do a good amount, but not too much. We can always add more. I have a tendency to overfill and then it starts to like bust out the top because even with having it tight at the top, I still sometimes overfill it. So filling it about that much for right now. And let's bring our tray back over. Let's lower you back down. So you're right there. Okay, and then what I usually like to do is, especially when I'm adding colors, I usually add it just right back into the bowl, but I don't really want to dye that batter pink. So I'm gonna pipe it into my peppermint bowl because that one is just being a butt with me right now. I feel like it somehow slightly firmed up, but also got softer while it was in. So we're taking our piping bag and running it through until it has kind of a more consistent color. That's a little bit better. So we want it to where, there we go. So it is a little bit streaky in some spots, but it, again, unless you really, really care about that, which I like the bolder color anyway. So we're just gonna pipe our little dollops now. So we're gonna hold it right above and we wanna go straight up, but go kind of slowly, let it build upon itself and kind of make like a little cone in it. And that's kind of the shape that we're going for here. So let's try it on this one. So we're gonna pipe while dragging up and finish off. That looks kind of like a Santa hat. Can start a little bit closer to the base to kind of make it spread out a little bit more. Go pipe, and go up. Oops. Finish you off. You just have little parts of white kind of popping through, but especially we're going to be putting on the meringue wreath. We can definitely hide those spots. But I think overall it looks pretty good. Especially over on this side, I'll show you in a little bit. It's really nice deep color. Again, slowly lifting up, just like that. I think these are gonna be so cute. pipe. Just like that. I'm so excited to make some mini ones. I love mini things. And we will finish off the top with a nice little dollop of white to make it look like a little pom-pom puff thing. What do you guys think? I think they're kind of cute. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to leave this in the bag, although we're probably gonna have to re-whip that, but we can just take care of that later. I'll take care of that off camera. Let's check our meringue. We might need just a little bit more, whipping just to get it up a little bit. And then we'll be able to finish this off. And then I was gonna do the other shapes with you on camera right now, but I think I will, because that peppermint one, I gotta kind of troubleshoot that. We are going to finish filming off camera, and then you will see everything. Ooh, sorry. Need a sip of water. Ooh, throat's getting a little bit dry from talking. Okay. So we are going to put everything together that we don't finish right now into a tutorial video that'll go up next week. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna put some into our piping bag. I'm swapping out the tip 21 that we did for the base of our Santa hats with that white, and we are going to switch it over to, let's see, I got 2 tips out, 2 decide. I think I'm gonna go with, okay, I'm gonna go with the tip 14, which is yet another little baby star tip, but it's even smaller. So this is gonna add our perfect little detail on top. Okay, add just a little bit of meringue. We don't need a ton to our bag. Like I said, I think the reason that I'm having some whipping issues today, if I had to theorize, would probably be just from the sheer amount of moisture in the air where I am right now. I think that that's the only thing I can think of that would be this drastically different to make them be such a pain in the butt. Okay, so we got some of our just plain white in a piping bag with our, you're not as stiff as I wanted you to be, but let's see. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we have our tip 14, and we're gonna pipe just a little teeny tiny dollop on top of each of these to finish it off. Oops. doesn't want to cooperate. Little dollop, done. Little dollop, done. Little dollop. Let's do a little dollop on each of these. This one's a dud. This one's just going to be a little taste tester later. Oops, somehow missed this row. Come out of this piping tip real quick. Okay, so there is our little dollop. I think I want to whip it a little bit more to stiff peaks again before I finish off the rest of them. But I think overall, what do you guys think? I think they're kind of cute. Thank you, sister, for saying that they're cute. Yeah, like I said, I'll finish off the rest of these off camera, or off live, I should say, and then I'll be recording them to share the rest with you guys later. My apologies for the meringue being a little bit funky today. Like I said, I think it's just because of weather. It's just a little bit funny when it gets kind of like that. So, but now that these are piped, what's really cool is that unlike the meringue that's in the bowls that hasn't been piped yet, these will actually stay as they are. So once you're done with them, you can just continue working, re-whipping, re-pipe, like piping all your stuff on the rest of the baking sheets. And once you are completely done, you're going to pop these into the oven at 195 degrees Fahrenheit. I cannot remember off the top of my head what that is in Celsius, but you're going to leave them in there. I like to personally leave them in there for about, on average, 2.5 to 3 hours, especially when you have the entire oven full, like I'm doing here with 3 full baking sheets. Yeah, it's quite a bit. So I think that about 2.5, 3 hours if you're doing like full 3 sheets of baking or 3 sheets of meringues. If you're doing like only a single sheet, you know, like only 1 or 2 batches, maybe you might be able to go with like 2 hours. But I personally love to turn the oven off when they're done. Don't open it and just leave them in there, leave them in the warm oven until the oven like is completely cool. You can leave them overnight. I actually do that frequently. And it works out really, really well. They're completely dried out. You don't have to worry about, you know, waiting for them to cool and taking them off the pan and all that kind of stuff. Just leave them in there until they're completely cool and they are easy to just pop right off. So like I said, I'll be finishing filming everything here. And don't forget to check out next week's live. We'll figure that one out. I might put up a poll to see what you guys want to do. And also next Saturday, the 10th, don't forget that we have a hot chocolate bomb class. That is a paid class. And I do have the link up on my community tab here on YouTube. So please make sure to go check that out if you'd love to learn the basics of making hot chocolate bombs. We're going to go over all of that, plus some fun ways to package them for holiday gifts. So make sure to check that out. I truly appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much for being here for a little bit longer of a live, but I will see you guys very soon, and I hope you have an awesome weekend.